The second brain after 60, gut health, mood, and mental clarity. There is a word people hear all the time now in health conversations: inflammation. It gets blamed for everything: joint pain, fatigue, weight gain, brain fog, digestive issues, aches that seem to come from nowhere. Even the general feeling that the body is not working as smoothly as it used to. And to be fair, inflammation does matter. Inflammation is not automatically bad. In its short-term form, it is part of how the body protects and repairs itself. If you get injured, fight an infection, or strain a tissue, inflammation is part of the healing response. But the problem is when inflammation becomes chronic, low-grade, persistent, always humming in the background. That is the kind of inflammation linked with many of the issues people begin noticing more after 60. Not because aging itself is a disease, but because over time, the body can become more vulnerable to the habits and patterns that quietly push inflammation upward. And one of the most important places this story begins is not in your knees, not in your skin, not in your brain. It begins in the gut. Today, we're going to talk about probiotics, gut health, and inflammation after 60. But we're going to do it carefully because this topic gets oversimplified fast. Probiotics are not magic. They are not a cure-all. And they do not cancel out a poor diet, poor sleep, chronic stress, or a sedentary life. But they can be part of the picture. And for some people, they may be a helpful part of the picture. The deeper question is not, are probiotics good or bad? The deeper question is, what are probiotics actually doing? Who may benefit? And how do they fit into the larger inflammation story? Let's start there. Your digestive tract is home to trillions of microorganisms, bacteria, viruses, fungi, and other microbes that together make up what we call the gut microbiome. Now, that may sound strange, but this is not a bad thing. A healthy microbiome is not a sterile one. It is a balanced one. These microbes help break down parts of food. They help produce certain vitamins and compounds. They influence the gut lining, and they interact closely with the immune system. That last part matters a lot. A large portion of immune activity is associated with the gut. That does not mean 70% of your immune system lives there, should be tossed around like a bumper sticker without context, but it is true that the gut is one of the body's major immune interfaces. And when the microbiome becomes less balanced, the immune system can become more reactive. That can mean more irritation in the digestive tract, more trouble tolerating certain foods, more bloating, changes in bowel habits, and in some cases, more systemic inflammatory signaling. This is one reason researchers are so interested in the gut microbiome. It is not just about digestion. It may also influence metabolism, immune regulation, and even how the brain and body communicate. Now let's bring age into the picture. As we get older, several things can change that affect the gut. Diet may become narrower. Fiber intake may drop, physical activity may decline, medication use may increase, stomach acid levels may change in some adults, digestive motility may slow, and repeated antibiotic use across the years can alter the microbial environment as well. All of this can contribute to a less diverse, less resilient gut microbiome. And when diversity drops, the system often becomes less stable. That is one reason some older adults notice a pattern like this: more bloating than they used to have, more food sensitivity, more constipation or irregularity, more low energy, and a general sense that recovery is not what it used to be. That does not prove the gut is the only cause. It rarely is. But it can absolutely be one of the contributors. So where do probiotics come in? Probiotics are live microorganisms that, when consumed in adequate amounts, may provide a health benefit. That is the careful scientific framing. Notice the wording, may provide a health benefit, not will cure, not always work, not all strains for all people. That is where the internet often goes off the rails. People talk about probiotics as if they are one thing, but probiotics are not one single substance. Different strains do different things. Some have better evidence for antibiotic-associated diarrhea. Some are studied for IBS symptoms. Some are looked at for immune modulation. Some may not do much at all in a given person. So the first truth is this: probiotics are not one magic bullet. They are a category, and their effect depends on the strain, the dose, the person, and the problem being addressed. That said, there are a few ways probiotics may support health after 60. First, some probiotics may help support the gut barrier. Your intestinal lining acts like a selective filter. You want nutrients to pass through. You do not want unwanted substances, inflammatory fragments, or microbial byproducts crossing too freely. When the gut barrier is stressed, that balance may become less efficient, and that can contribute to immune activation. Certain probiotic strains appear to help support that barrier function. Second, probiotics may compete with less helpful microbes. They may help maintain a more balanced gut environment. Third, some probiotics may influence the production of beneficial compounds indirectly, especially when the diet also contains enough fiber to feed the microbial ecosystem. That brings us to something many people miss. Probiotics are not the whole story. Prebiotics matter too. Prebiotics are types of fiber and other compounds that feed beneficial gut bacteria. In simple terms, probiotics are the seeds and prebiotics are the fertilizer. You can take all the probiotics you want, but if your diet is chronically low in fiber, low in plant variety, and full of ultra-processed foods, you are working uphill. Because the gut ecosystem does not thrive on capsules alone. It thrives on conditions. That means oats, beans, lentils, onions, garlic, leeks, asparagus, bananas, apples, ground flax, chia, vegetables, whole plant foods in regular rotation. Old wisdom still wins here. Feed the system well and it tends to behave better. Now let's deal with a practical question. Should probiotics come from food or supplements? In general, foods are a very reasonable place to start, if tolerated. Unsweetened yogurt with live cultures, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, miso if not boiled, other traditionally fermented foods. These bring live cultures, and often they bring them in a food matrix the body tends to handle well. But not everybody tolerates fermented foods equally. Some people with IBS, histamine sensitivity, or a very reactive gut may find certain fermented foods make them feel worse. That does not mean probiotics are bad. It means individual response matters. Supplements can be useful in some cases, especially when a specific strain has evidence for a specific issue. But random probiotic supplements chosen by marketing language alone? That's where people waste money. The best approach is not hype. It is matching the tool to the problem. Now, let's talk about timing, because this is where a lot of health content gets weirdly confident. You will hear people say probiotics must be taken first thing in the morning. Others say before bed. Others say with meals only. Others say on an empty stomach. The more honest answer is, it depends on the product and the goal, and the evidence is mixed. Some probiotic organisms survive better when taken with food because the meal can buffer stomach acidity. That is a reasonable point. But sweeping claims like morning stomach acid kills all probiotics are too simplistic and often overstated. The stomach is acidic throughout the day, and many probiotic products are designed with survival in mind. So a saner takeaway is this. If you use a probiotic supplement, follow the product instructions, and many people do well taking it with or around a meal. If you use probiotic foods, include them in a meal pattern that works for your digestion and consistency. No need for ritual theatre. Consistency matters more than drama. Now we need to zoom out because probiotics alone do not fix inflammation. That is the hard truth. If someone is sleeping poorly, eating mostly ultra-processed foods, never moving, under chronic stress, carrying uncontrolled blood sugar, and expecting probiotics to clean up the mess, that is not how biology works. Inflammation is shaped by the whole system. Blood sugar instability can increase inflammatory stress. Excess visceral fat can increase inflammatory signaling. Poor sleep changes immune regulation. Physical inactivity reduces insulin sensitivity and metabolic resilience. Chronic psychological stress changes hormonal patterns that affect the immune system too. So yes, gut health matters. But gut health is part of the network, not the entire kingdom. And that means the most anti-inflammatory lifestyle is usually not built around one supplement. It is built around repeatable basics. Fiber-rich eating, enough protein, regular movement, walking after meals, strength training, sleep, stress reduction, less ultra-processed food, better metabolic control, and then, if appropriate, probiotic foods or a targeted supplement. That is boring to people who want miracles, but it is how the body actually works. Let's talk about one more important mechanism: short-chain fatty acids. When beneficial gut bacteria ferment certain fibers, they produce compounds called short-chain fatty acids, including butyrate. These compounds help nourish the cells lining the colon and are associated with anti-inflammatory effects and better gut barrier function. This is one of the reasons fiber matters so much. Not just because fiber helps you go to the bathroom, that is the kindergarten version of the story. Fiber feeds the ecosystem, and the ecosystem produces compounds that influence health far beyond simple regularity. So if someone says they want the benefits of probiotics but eats almost no fiber, that is like trying to maintain a garden by buying seeds and never watering the soil. Now, what about fasting? People often ask whether intermittent fasting reduces inflammation. In some people, a sensible fasting window can improve insulin sensitivity, help control calorie intake, and support metabolic health. And better metabolic health can absolutely help lower inflammatory burden. But fasting is not automatically appropriate for everyone, especially older adults who are under-eating, frail, losing muscle, or struggling to get enough protein. This is where health advice needs grown-up nuance. After 60, preserving muscle matters tremendously. If fasting causes someone to eat too little protein, lose weight unintentionally, or feel weak and depleted, that is not a win. So the principle is not fast at all costs. The principle is metabolic steadiness without sacrificing nourishment. Same story with protein. Protein is not just about muscle vanity. Protein helps preserve lean mass, supports recovery, and contributes to immune function and tissue maintenance. But quality matters. A steady pattern of whole food protein sources, fish, eggs, yogurt, legumes, poultry, tofu, and other minimally processed options, tends to support health more reliably than a diet heavy in highly processed meats. Again, old truth, real food still does the heavy lifting. And then we come to herbs and spices. This part gets romanticized, but there is truth in it. Garlic, ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, rosemary, and many herbs contain compounds studied for antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. They are not replacements for medical care, but they are sensible allies in a whole food pattern. Traditional cuisines knew this long before wellness influencers put beige labels on glass jars and sold the obvious back to people at a markup. Use herbs generously. Use spices intelligently. Cook in a way that builds flavor and nourishment together. That is not trendy, that is ancestral common sense. So what is the practical approach here? If you want to support gut health and help calm chronic inflammation after 60, start with the foundation. Increase plant variety, aim for regular fiber, remove fermented foods if tolerated, eat enough protein, walk daily, strength train if able, sleep better, reduce ultra-processed foods, manage blood sugar. And then consider whether probiotic foods or a targeted supplement fit your needs. That is how adults do this well. Not with panic, not with miracle language, not with cure claims. With patience, with consistency, with respect for how the body actually works. Because the body after 60 is not broken, but it is less forgiving of chaos. And that means the little things matter more, not because you are fragile, because your systems now respond more clearly to what you repeat every day. So if you want less inflammation, do not ask only, what supplement should I take? Ask the better question, what environment am I creating inside my body every single day? That is where the real answer lives. Probiotics may help, prebiotics matter, food patterns matter, movement matters, sleep matters, metabolic health matters. It is all connected, and that is actually good news because it means you are not waiting for rescue. You are building conditions, and when conditions improve, the body often becomes calmer, steadier, and more resilient. Not instantly, not perfectly, but often meaningfully. That is the long game, and the long game still works. Until next time, stay steady, stay discerning, and stay re-inspired.
I hope this video brought you value and re-inspired you. If so, please subscribe, hit like, and leave a comment. And if anybody you know could use a little re-inspiration, please send it to them. Thank you so much for watching.